Good morning and a very warm welcome, everyone. I'm Diana Eggleston. I'm the business advisor responsible for impact economy and NGOs at the Hague Business Agency. Together with my colleague Philip, who's our expert on new energy, I'm hosting today's webinar on EU funding. Hi, Philip.
Hi, good morning, Diana.
It's really great to be here, and this topic is clearly very relevant because we have people who have signed up from 22 countries. Welcome, everyone, and it's the highest number of sign-ups we've had for any webinar. For those of you who don't know the Hague Business Agency, we're a publicly funded non-profit organization, and we assist foreign companies, NGOs, and international organizations with their expansion to the Netherlands. Every day, people in The Hague work towards creating a better, safer, and more just world. And as the seat of Dutch government, The Hague is a hub for sustainable development. The city of The Hague is proud and delighted to welcome new organizations that contribute to this mission. Some of the services we provide at the Hague Business Agency are, for example, organizing fact-finding trips, providing relevant information, assisting with the incorporation and settling in process, and making important and relevant introductions to the ecosystem. Now, we don't do this alone, of course, but we work with a vast network of trusted service providers, with partner organizations, as well as with the local and national government. One of the service providers we work with is EU funding consultant Simona Terpowska. Simona, welcome. Great that you're with us. Furthermore, we're joined by Koos Santing of Impact City. Good morning, Koos. And Jill Wilkinson, Managing Director of the Hague Humanity Hub. A very special thank you to our generous host, Hotel Indigo. They've enabled us to set up this fully corona-proof studio here, strictly following the guidelines. Fun fact, we're actually based in the vault here of what used to be the National Bank of the Netherlands from 1883 onwards. After a thorough renovation in 2018, Hotel Indigo opened its doors. And it's in a beautiful location on the Noordeinde, just across from the Royal Palace. The hotel have asked me to share some information with you, which I'll read out, and I understand that it's very relevant during the pandemic. As an intercontinental hotels group brand, Hotel Indigo participates in the IHG Way of Clean, a global brand standard which is integrated into IHG hotels around the world. So in other words, whether you stay in an IHG hotel in Europe, the Middle East, Africa, Asia, or the Americas, you can expect a safe and clean stay. IHG Way of Clean includes deep cleaning with hospital-grade disinfectants in guest rooms and public spaces. This practice means that Hotel Indigo has been able to stay open throughout the pandemic. As the world adjusts to new travel norms and expectations, IHG has managed to redefine cleanliness in order to provide a safe environment to guests and employees. Now, before we kick off, we're curious to hear how many of you already have had any kind of experience with EU funding. So I'd like to run a quick poll. If you would kindly respond, please. It should be, it's already popped up there. So if you could please respond to the poll. Philip, can you see it already?
I can see it. We're just waiting for some answers. Let's see.
Oh yeah, they're coming in fast, I think. So
the results are coming in, but I can't see them here right now.
It's actually really nice to be in a live location for a change for us, right?
Absolutely. No, I can't see the poll results. All right. Well, unfortunately, we can't see the results, but you can see them on screen. So hopefully this gives a little bit of insight in the audience.
So
please move ahead. Let's just move ahead.
Let's move ahead. Well, we will record these anyway. I think my colleague is waving at me. We'll record these results. So today's program will consist of 4 parts with 2 short coffee breaks. Let me just outline the program for you. In part one, my colleague Philip will share his insights into developments and opportunities in the new energy sector. Then we'll hear from Co Santing on behalf of Impact City and from Jill Wilkinson on behalf of the Humanity Hub community. They'll share about their respective roles in the ecosystem as well as the needs of their communities. In part two, Simona will provide an overview of the new funding schemes. She'll provide an outline of the application process and timelines, as well as some pointers as to where to find more information. Then we'll have a coffee break, and in part three, we will then deep dive into some of the programs. So first, Simona will give an introduction into Horizon Europe and the Innovation Fund. Now, these are most relevant for energy companies and other actors working on innovative solutions. This includes NGOs that participate in a consortium, for example. This section will also give an introduction to the LIFE Fund, which is relevant for anyone who works on climate change and environmental initiatives. We'll also briefly touch upon a couple of new recently expanded schemes, Digital Europe and EU for Health. Then we'll have a further coffee break, and in the last part, part four, which is most relevant for NGOs and social enterprises, Simona will talk about Erasmus Plus and the European Social Fund. After part three and four, there will be an opportunity for Q&A. In the meantime, though, feel free to send in your questions via the Q&A box. And if you can, put the name of the person your question is for or the name of the fund that the question is about in brackets with your question. My colleagues will collect all questions, and if we can't answer them during this webinar, then we will respond by email later. The recording of today's webinar will be available on our website, businessagency.thehague.com, and we'll also share a link by email. So I think I've done enough talking to start with. I will now hand over to Philip. Philip.
Hi, Diana. Thank you very much for this introduction. Before I start, I do have some poll results that are coming in, and I see that 19% of the attendees have applied for these schemes successfully and 14 unsuccessfully. So there's still a lot to learn, so let's move ahead. Well, thanks again for this introduction. Whereas Diana focuses on the NGO and impact economy, my focus at the Hague Business Agency is the new energy sector. And it's great to see that we go hand in hand today as we're all working on a better world. Which is great as well, is that I've seen that a lot of people from the energy industry have registered today. I've been going through the list, and I've seen companies from the conventional energy sector, oil and gas. I know that quite a few of them are working on hydrogen, CCUS, and other carbon reducing technologies. There's people in marine renewable energy, geothermal energy, batteries, energy storage, clean technology, smart city solutions, etc. Great to have you here. We all need you. Well, as many of you know, energy is going to be one of the most important topics the coming decades. If you want to keep this planet livable a little bit longer, we need to take action. And luckily, this is being acknowledged by governments at all levels. Of course, there's the Paris Agreement. Luckily, the US is coming back to that, returning to the agreement. There's the European Green Deal, a massive program. Actually, one of the reasons we're here as well. Horizon Europe, one of the programs we're talking about, flows out of Horizon Europe, the Green Deal. And in the Netherlands, we've got het Klimaatakkoord, or the climate agreement. And in the city of The Hague, we've got the Stedelijk Energieplan. So what you see, it all funnels down from a global to a local level. But what all of these programs have in common is they all work on building a low carbon, climate resilient future. To achieve this, speaking for energy, a lot of innovation is needed. Innovation all the way from production of energy to the application. And as many of you know, innovation in energy is very time consuming and very capital intensive. There's very often a lot of hardware involved as well. Luckily, there's funding schemes available. Some of these we've covered already in a previous webinar in collaboration with RVO, the Netherlands Enterprise Agency. Those recordings are still available on our website or on our YouTube channel, so please have a look. But today we came here, and also for very good reasons, to talk about European funding schemes. Simona will tell you all about it. There's a lot of money available, so I think a great incentive for companies in the energy industry. So Well, stay tuned and have a great webinar. Guess it's back to you, Diana.
Yeah, thank you, Philip. That was a really nice overview. Now, before I introduce our next speaker, I would like to give you, or we would like to give you an impression of Impact City. So that's a program initiated by the city of The Hague, as Koos will mention later. And yeah, can we have the video, please?
Are you working on innovations for a better world? Are you looking to scale your business or to collaborate to make a lasting impact? Impact City The Hague may be just the place for you. The Hague, International City of Peace and Justice, is proud of its historic legacy, and our legacy continues to this day. The city has a unique network that connects NGOs, knowledge institutions, corporates, and a wide variety of creative entrepreneurs that are looking to make a difference. In The Hague, 30,000 people are working towards making the world a better place every day. We believe that economic success and social impact go hand in hand, tackling global challenges by doing good and doing business. The Hague is fully committed to this impact economy because it's in our DNA. We support entrepreneurs in this impact ecosystem with an extensive infrastructure that consists of access to international networks, affordable working spaces, and access to market, finance, talent, and increased visibility. Are you keen on making a difference? Join the Impact City community and tap into our networks. We look forward to meeting you and excelling together.
It's my pleasure to now introduce Koos Santing, Program Manager at Impact City. Before joining the municipality, Koos spent 10 years working for the national government at the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Economic Affairs. Koos was on the team that set up the National Startup Task Force, Startup Delta, which has now been renamed to TechLeap. He was also involved in setting up national investment schemes for business angels and venture capital. Koos believes that economic success must go hand in hand with solutions for a better world, as defined by the Impact City motto, doing good and doing business. We work closely together to grow the impact ecosystem in The Hague, and we share the belief in a new economy where global challenges are solved by entrepreneurship. Koos, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Diana, for your kind words. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. Yes, it is true. We actually founded the Impact City program in 2015. As shown in the video, in The Hague, every day, tens of thousands of people are working on a more peaceful and just world. The Hague is home of more than 200 international organizations. Organizations such as the International Criminal Court, the International Court of Justice, and Europol. So we are actually already a true impact city. But in 2015, we saw that the entrepreneurial part was missing. The dynamics of startups or scale-ups, and in particular, those who are working on a better world. So that's why we started the Impact City program. We actually want really to support the ecosystem, the impact ecosystem of entrepreneurs that show every day economic success and social impact can go hand in hand. Entrepreneurs that show doing good and doing business is possible. We do this by offering in the Impact City program an extensive kind of services. We have services that help you become visible, your company. For example, last year, we launched a big international impact database where you can show your company to new corporates or investors. So if you start, we really make the unknown known. Another big thing which we organize every year is Impact Fest, with more than 1,500 visitors. Also, last year we did it online, and we have more than 30 partners, international partners. So really to open up the international network for you as an impact entrepreneur. This year we also have like a European impact competition with 5 other cities in Europe. we launch a competition for impact entrepreneurs to also be successful in Europe, in other countries. We have in Impact City, we also have a program for the government themselves to be more innovative. It's called the Startup and Residence Program. At this moment, we have like 15 challenges together with 4 ministries and the province of South Holland. Another big part, and that's also why we are here today, is access to finance. We know many companies, in particular in the impact world, they need a lot of funding. So therefore, we have like prize contests. Today also open is the Hague Innovators Challenge. We have support programs to connect you with investors, like also with international investors. And we have a program, and that's maybe the best to name today. We have a program that helps you with consultancy services to apply for EU funding. It's called Make Impact, Get EU Funding. That program will also be launched this year, and we will inform you about that. The Hague is now, after around 6 years, we are now recognized as a #1 impact ecosystem in Europe by the European Commission. We even will help other EU cities this year with a grant of the EU Commission to become also an impact city. Also another testament to the work we have done is that big names in the impact ecosystem have come to The Hague to set up their European office. An example of this is DRK Foundation and Euclid Network, the branch organization for social enterprises. Both set up their office in The Hague. We work in close cooperation with Impact City, with the Hague Business Agency and all our partners in the ecosystem to build the best European ecosystem for impact entrepreneurs. So if you want to make impact, join us in The Hague and work on innovations for a better world.
Now. Thank you, Koos. Our next guest is Jill Wilkinson. As the Managing Director, aka Chief Everything Officer at the Hague Humanity Hub, Jill cares deeply about sustainability in the broadest sense, and she's fascinated with innovation in multi-stakeholder contexts. Jill describes working with the Humanity Hub community as a pioneering adventure. It is her strong belief that connection and collaboration between diverse parties are crucial ingredients for creating a better world. A native Canadian, Jill has adopted The Hague as her home, and she loves helping the unique community in the city of peace and justice to thrive. Jill, please take the floor.
Thank you very much, Diana, and welcome everybody to this webinar. I'm very excited to be able to tell you about the Hague Humanity Hub, which is similar to Impact City and part of the Impact City ecosystem, an initiative that was originally taken by the City of The Hague to support and strengthen the peace and justice community. As Koos mentioned, we have more than 200 organizations working on international peace and justice, but if you count the number of organizations that are also working not from the not-for-profit or the intergovernmental point of view, there are hundreds of organizations working on a more peaceful and just world. And the Humanity Hub's role is to support and strengthen this diverse community and build bridges between all the different diverse actors. So our bridges are more between the social enterprises and the NGOs, between knowledge institutes and research institutes, and our members that has been growing. We've been building this community since 2018. We have now more than 300 members from more than 100 organizations, but they range from small entrepreneurs, startups who are working on, for example, tech solutions for a better world, up to departments of the United Nations, like the Organization for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. So we have a really diverse community, and what we do to support them, and this is somewhat unique, is we offer them a combination of community services, so community building, community management programming, and also space to claim for co-location using our offices so that you are working in an environment where you can easily make connections. We have two beautiful premises, one in the very center of The Hague and one just recently opened in the international zone, where we house more than 60 organizations of our 100 organizations that are represented in our membership. So we are both a community membership organization as well as a home. We have many programs that we create together with our community that help them to innovate and ultimately achieve more impact. A couple of highlights on this I'd like to mention is our unique community-led programming. So what we do is work very closely with members to talk about what are the intersections across various sectors within the peace and justice sector. There are many sectors, so international development, humanitarian aid, intergovernmental affairs, advocacy. There are many different approaches. What are the things that interest them across sector? Things like COVID-19, of course, very relevant right now. How is that affecting your work? How are you changing your work? These are things that we facilitate conversations on. We are also proud to be a SDG house, part of the soon-to-be international network of SDG houses, one of 12 SDG houses in the Netherlands. And as an SDG house, we are promoting working on the SDGs. Our current membership, we can already identify at least 14 of the SDGs that we are working on, and our aim is to create partnerships with diverse actors for more international impact. We provide a very unique entry point for the ecosystem of peace and justice, and I would welcome any of you who are interested in understanding more about this to contact me and find out more if you'd like to hear more about this. Specifically in the area of finance, and I come back to the idea of community-led programming, we are always looking for what does this community need? And of course, the community that's working on a better and more peaceful and just world will always need to have access to funding. Many of our members are using already some EU funding instruments, but of course it is a complex system, hard to understand. Many of them still need to understand how this works. So I'm very happy to be a partner in this initiative to offer more insights into this, and we will always help support our members in helping find out what kind of support is available and what kind of funding is available. So I think that's enough about us. I'd like to hand it back to Diana, and thank you again for this opportunity to join in, and I'm looking forward to learning from Simona.
Thank you so much, Jill. I'm sure there will be a lot of interest to find out more about the Humanity Hub. So this brings us now to part 2. I'd like to introduce Simona, our investment consultant from IDS Coaching and Consulting. I'm thrilled that Simona is with us today. She has extensive experience in all things EU funding, but also other funding schemes, including Horizon 2020, Erasmus+, LIFE, EASY, etc. I'm also allowed to share that she has secured over 40 million euros of EU funding for her clients in about 5 years' time. Simona's main drive is to facilitate SMEs, NGOs, and corporations to bring their innovative and sustainable ideas to the market. She does this by helping them secure the much needed amount of financing. She's eager to share her experience and success stories and to provide you with a basic understanding of the upcoming 2021 to 2027 EU financing framework. Just to remind you, after this part, we'll have a 7-minute coffee break. Simona, please take it away.
Thank you for the introduction, Diana. It is a pleasure being here with you, and welcome everyone. Today I'm Simona, and today I'm going to present you the new EU multi-annual financing framework, and we will learn together more about the new financing opportunities that the European Commission has to offer. Can you please allow screen sharing? So can I share my slides, please? Yeah, here they are. Sorry So today we are going to speak about the international financing framework. Let me just press the play. Yeah, sorry for that. So today I'm going to introduce you about the basis of the new EU financing framework. Then I'm briefly going to talk about the application and selection process for the new framework, and I'm going to share some tips for you. Then we are going to talk about the research and innovation programs and programs relevant for the climate changes and for the energy sector, as well as for other industries. And after a Q&A session, we will continue with funding relevant for social enterprises, NGOs, and mainly the financing available on social topics. And then we will end with questions and answers. So do you know how much funding is available into the new financing program? Well, let me tell you that the multi-annual financing framework will amount to a total of 1.1 trillion euros, and that's not all. So to help the EU economy get out of the crisis caused by the pandemics, the European Commission has secured additional 750 billion euros for the period of 2021 and 2022. So you will be able to apply to different programs within this framework. The new financial program will have focus on 7 major areas. So part of the funds will be secured for single market innovations and digital innovations, then for the preservation of natural resources and the environment, and then we'll have some funds available for cohesion, resilience, and values, migration, and border management. We will have some for the neighborhood and the world, and we will also have funds for the security sector, and part of the funds will be for the EU funding for the EU public administration. Then all of these funds will be spread across different programs and different funds. And for example, for the agriculture sector, there will be a common agriculture policy, and there will be funds for there will be 2 funds, European Agriculture Fund for Rural Development and European Agriculture Guarantee Fund. There will be also other funds available, for example, Horizon Europe, Invest EU, Just Transition Fund, Erasmus Plus, and many others. As you can see, there is a lot available, but unfortunately, because of the time constraints today, we cannot share all of the funding opportunities with you. But don't get disappointed if you don't hear any relevant fund for your organization, because you can contact me directly, or you can contact Diana or Philip and share your project, and we can make suggestions for relevant funding programs and opportunities. So please stay tuned. Before we go on to introducing the exact programs, I want to start with the application and selection process. So, so the first step, of course, that is needed is to find a relevant financing call, and how you will do that. To find a relevant call, you just go to the funding and tenders portal of the European Commission, and you can find all available current and forthcoming calls. because there will be many available calls starting from March this year. Please make sure to use a very precise keywords that will help you locate the most relevant topic and the most relevant calls for your organization. And before reading the entire call, so you don't waste time, please check the eligibility criteria and other requirements, and make sure that the stage of development of your solution or your project is relevant to the suggested program. And yeah, the next step after finding a relevant call is finding relevant partners. So most of the EU calls require you to form partnerships with companies, universities, research institutions, or NGOs, depending on the type of call you apply. And one thing you should know is that the partnerships need to be with partners from other countries. So I suggest you check first your network for potential partners and the network of your partnering organizations. And if you cannot find relevant partners there, then there is opportunity to find relevant funding opportunities in the online portal. And then once you have found the relevant call and found the relevant partners, then it's time to prepare and submit your proposal. So in the preparation phase, please make sure to be as specific as possible. Don't repeat yourself, and make sure that your application is concise, clear, and understandable. And by understandable, I mean that anyone who reads the application can understand what you're talking about. So not only the people that have pre-existing knowledge in your field of expertise. And one last tip in this part is that once you apply, if you get rejected, don't get disappointed. Persistence is the key in these EU calls. I've had clients with whom we won on the first application, but I've had clients with whom we won on the second reapplication, the third or the fourth. So we were persistent. We applied either to the same call if it was a repetitive call, or we applied to a different call within the similar scope. So my advice to you is not to give up, so to keep trying, and your effort will result with success. And once it resulted with success, then and you start implementing the project, you need to make sure that you have strict project management procedures that comply with the rules and regulations of the specific program. And you need to make sure that you execute the activities as per the budget and working plan. And if any contingencies appear, please contact communicate with the Commission before taking any further steps, so you don't have problems afterwards. And last but not least is that you need to keep clear and neat documentation for 5 years after the implementation of the project, because the European Commission can send an auditor anytime within the 5 years after the completion of the project. So now, before we go on with the specific calls, I will hand it over to Diana to tell you what is coming next.
Thank you, Simona. This was extremely insightful, and I find it so impressive what vast amounts are available to support organizations that contribute to the new economy. We'll take a break now, and we'll continue sharp at 10:48. If you're an NGO or a social enterprise that is more interested in employment, education, training, or social entrepreneurship rather than technology and climate change programs, you might want to take a longer break and rejoin us for the Erasmus Plus and European Social Fund funding sessions. In that case, please be back at 11:50. During the break, we'll play you a little video of our lovely colleague, Daisy, who's introducing our beautiful city of The Hague. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Hi, my name is Daisy. I'm a business advisor at The Hague Business Agency. I want to show you The Hague and why I think it's a great place for business and personal life. I was born in the Netherlands, but I have Taiwanese, Surinamese, and Chinese parts in me. I've always felt at home as a multicultural person in The Hague because diversity is normal here. The Hague is a unique city. It is small and compact with a village feeling, but yet it has all the facilities and infrastructure of a mega city. Where else could you find a city where a prime minister is biking to work, or the royal family is passing by to shake hands with city residents? Life here is built around key values: peace, justice, and security, which helps create one of the highest qualities of life in the world. The Hague is the home to the Dutch government and over 100 embassies and consulates. In this city, collaboration between the municipality of The Hague, businesses, Dutch universities, and entrepreneurial communities is strong and productive. This collaboration produces a unique and diverse ecosystem to help new and existing businesses to grow. To give you a sense of the scale of our ecosystem, we have 5 active business hubs linked to a large network of public partners, business service providers, entrepreneurs, NGOs, and international organizations closely interconnected with each other. With so many important global organizations in our city, safety is incredibly important, and The Hague performs well on almost every safety metric. Everything is close by, and commuting is easy. With Rotterdam and Amsterdam only a short train ride away, traveling internationally is just as simple, with Schiphol Airport just around the corner. As a parent myself, I understand that a quality education is very important for families with children. And because of the highly diverse population in The Hague, our city has a great variety of international schools and organizations. You can easily find a suitable elementary or secondary school for your children close by your home. And last but not least, the Netherlands has one of the best healthcare systems in the world, and our government provides multiple programs to help cover healthcare costs. 谢谢. We're looking forward to seeing you soon in The Hague.
I hate chatting. Really, do I have to do this? So what do I tell them? Hi, welcome back, everybody. Hope you all had the opportunity to get a cup of coffee, go to the toilet, walk your dog, and well, we're going to move ahead. Simona will talk more about the Innovation Fund, Horizon Europe, Life Plus, EU for Health, and Digital Europe. And well, after this session, there will be room for questions and answers. So, Simona, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Philip. So we will continue the session by introducing a new type of fund that was launched recently in summer 2020. And it is called the Innovation Fund. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Innovation Fund, but it is one of the biggest, one of the largest funding programs for the demonstration of innovative low carbon technologies in the world. So the program will run until 2030, and the budget of the program is 10 billion euros. So if you're an organization or a company that works in one of their major focus areas, it is worth considering this opportunity. So let me share briefly which are the 5 major areas. The first one is innovations in low carbon technologies, and this priority includes also processes and products in energy intensive industries that can be replaced with lower emission processes or products. The second priority is carbon capture and utilization technologies. The third priority is construction and operation of carbon capture and storage facilities. The fourth priority is renewables, and the last priority is energy storage. So what is important to know about this program is that in order to apply, you need to be private or private entity or public entity or international organization based in one of the EU member states, Norway and Liechtenstein. And in this program, individual applications are accepted, so you can apply alone, but I strongly recommend that you consider partnering with other organizations in complementary fields, so you cover your weak spots, especially if you apply for a higher amount of financing. And you will also need partners to demonstrate financial and operational capacity, because the Innovation Fund provides 60% co-financing for your project, but you will still need to invest 40% of the amount, and on bigger projects that is not a small amount. Under this program, you have 2 types of calls, small-scale calls and large-scale calls. And the small-scale calls range between 2.5 to 7.5 million euros, and the large-scale projects go above 7 million euros. The maximum duration of these projects is up to 48 months. And you can find the calls. So the calls are launched throughout the years. So so you can apply either to the small or to the large scale project. The large scale, the call for the large scale project unfortunately expired in late October 2020, but I have good news for you that there is a new call is announced for early summer 2021, and so you can start preparing the large-scale projects and apply by the 23rd of June 2021. And if you want to apply sooner, you can apply to the small-scale projects, which are currently which is currently active. So the call was opened on the 1st of December 2020, and they admit applications by the end of March 2021. So you still have over a month time to go, which can be sufficient if you have already idea project or project for this particular call. The eligibility sectors, as mentioned before, are the renewables, energy-intensive industries and substitute products, and carbon capture and storage projects and energy storage projects. The amount of financing is 60%, so you need to make sure that you have enough financing to cover the 40% that can, depending on the amount you request, can range anywhere between 0.75 million to 3 million euros. And if you decide to apply, you need to make sure to apply for phases for demonstration and preparation for commercialization. So more advanced ideas are preferred in this call. And so you need to have early traction of your innovation, so you're eligible to apply. Otherwise, if they notice that you're at earlier stage, you will be eliminated from the application procedure from the fund, and you will be recommended to apply at later stage. And besides this, there are also some others award criteria, and some of them are quite strict. One of the most important criteria, selection criteria, is the greenhouse gas emissions avoidance potential. So you need to measure the relative and the absolute emission avoidance potential. So to correctly state it in the application, please make sure to measure it correctly, because the Innovation Fund is quite strict with this criteria. If they find an error in this criteria, then they stop evaluating your application. So the rest of the application will not be considered. You will be immediately disqualified. And then the second criteria is the degree of innovation. So you will need to have a breakthrough innovation and a technology that is state of art or is significantly different from other technologies available on the market. And this is also one of the most important criteria, because if you don't score, if you score less than 3 points out of total 5 points, then there is a great chance that you will be eliminated from and the rest of your application will not be evaluated. And then there are some other award criteria. You need to demonstrate project maturity. And by project maturity, I mean implementation and financial maturity. And to pass successfully, you need to have a minimum of 3 out of 5 points. And then once you pass this criteria, you should also make sure that you pass the scalability and cost efficiency criteria. For the scalability criteria, there are 3 sub-measures. So you need to demonstrate scalability on based on the regional economy at the level of the sector and at the level of the economy. And you should score also a minimum of 3 out of 5 points. And then the cost efficiency is measured with a special formula. And then if you are successful, then you can you will be selected, and a clear guidance will be given on how to continue with the implementation. Another major point to consider is that in order to apply, because the application is online, so you need to first register your organization in the online portal and get a PIC code for your organization. And this PIC code will also help you to apply for other funds, not just for the Innovation Fund. Another fund where you can apply with the PIC code is the Horizon Europe program. So I don't know how many of you heard about the Horizon Europe program, but I'm sure most of you heard about Horizon 2020 program. Basically, Horizon Europe program is the successor program of the Horizon 2020 program. It has a budget over 100 billion euros, and it supports projects from research and innovation projects that can be at the stage of lab research and testing to commercialization projects. So the main focus for the new 7-year period is on 5 major topics. One is the mitigation and adaptation to climate changes. The second is preventing cancer. And the third one is about technology that can help in the creation of climate neutral Europe and can facilitate the creation of smart cities. And of course, a major focus will be given to the protection of oceans, seas, and waters. And food is another major topic. So the soil health and food is, especially with the increase of population, this becomes one of the major focus of the world and of the European Commission. And that's why it is a part of this program. For the 2021 to 2022 program under the Horizon Europe, you will see topics on the protection and preservation of the biodiversity and the ecosystem. You will also see topics on the creation of environmentally friendly and healthy food systems. Also, there will be many projects on circular economy and clean environment and zero pollution. You will find calls for the protection of the land, oceans, and water. And of course, there will be calls for the creation of resilient coastal and urban communities. This program is closely related to the Green Deal calls, so there will also be calls about innovative governance and innovative practices that will speed up the process of accomplishing the Green Deal goals, and also digital solutions that will also contribute into the faster accomplishment of these goals. Similarly to the Horizon 2020, this program will be divided in 3 major pillars. Excellent science. The excellent science program is more relevant for research institutions and for universities. Then the second pillar is quite broad. It is about global challenges and European industrial competitiveness. So organizations from different sectors and industries can join together on different topics, can collaborate on different topics so that they resolve some of the major global challenges. And the third pillar is dedicated to breakthrough innovative technologies. So companies that have disruptive innovations are invited to apply to the pillar 3 calls under the Innovative Europe. So how to apply, what is important for you to know is that you need to be an organization registered in either in the EU member states or in the associated countries. So associated Horizon Europe countries are North Macedonia, Norway, Switzerland, Albania, Iceland, Montenegro, Serbia, Turkey, and now UK will be added to the list as a result of Brexit, but UK companies can still cooperate with EU companies and apply to some of these calls. Then, as I mentioned before, most of the EU programs require partnering organizations. For most of these calls, you need to have 2 additional partners from 2 different countries. But in some calls, you will find even stricter requirements requiring for you to make partnership with 5 or 6 program countries. the co-financing rate for organizations stays the same. So it is 100% financing for non-profits, and 30% co-financing rate applies for for-profit organizations. So if you, for example, apply in joint consortium, if an SME, an NGO, and a university applies in pillar 2 call, for example, then you will then the SME will need to provide 30% co-financing of their budget, and then while the NGO and the university will be financed with 100%. Horizon Europe is a very big program, so you will have a variety of calls available for application. But so there are some repetitive calls that you will see them reappearing throughout the years, while there are other calls that are only one-time call, and they are usually connected to resolving certain problem. And some of these calls are one-stage calls, while others will require two-step application process. And if you go through if you successfully pass the first stage, you will be invited to continue in the second stage. And the minimum duration for this project, for most of these projects, will be 12 months. And the minimum amount of financing will be around 500,000 euros. And but you can also apply for projects that are 10, 15, 20 million of euros. So there is wide span of financing available for this program. And then you can also find calls throughout the whole year. So make sure to check the funding and tenders portal throughout the whole year to locate relevant calls. The calls will be published early in advance to allow you to prepare, so you don't have to be worried about that. I have, so before applying to any of the program, any of the programs, the calls, it is very important that you take into consideration the technological readiness levels. So you need to know which is your technological readiness level, and also the requirements of the call. So for example, technological TRL 1 to 3 is usually for the calls under pillar 1, excellent science. So most of the calls within this pillar will be for these technological levels, and then for pillar 2, you can apply anywhere between 3 and 6, 7 and TRL. And then for the third pillar, usually the requirements are a minimum of technological readiness level 6. But when you read the calls, please be careful, because in some cases the Commission will clearly state the technological readiness level, but in some cases it will be implied throughout the text. And if you present a technological activities for a lower or higher technological readiness level than it is expected to be in the project, then your project will be dismissed. So please be very careful on this. And now, before I continue to the next program, I want to share a good news for the SMEs that have innovative technologies. And probably you've heard about one of the most competitive programs under the Horizon 2020 program, the EIC Accelerator Pilot, or previously also known as the SME instrument. Well, the good news is that this program will continue running in the new Horizon Europe program. And so you can still apply and get funding for your innovative technologies. The program will offer blended financing of grant and equity. The blended financing will be in the same range like the previous call, from 0.5 to 2.5 million euros, and then you can also also apply for the equity part of up to 15 million euros. However, some of the criteria do change in this program, and unlike the Horizon unlike the Horizon 2020 program, in the new program, the EIC Accelerator will have two-stage application process. The first stage will require you to submit 5-pager plus video, and if you get selected, then you will have a green light to apply to the second stage, which is a full application process of similar to the previous program. And there are also changes in the deadline structure. So you will, for the first stage of application, there will be no deadline, so you can apply and anytime you want. But for the second stage, there will be deadlines that and you can apply 2 to 3 times per year. So for the year 2021, as the calls are expected to be launched in March this year, then there will be 2 deadlines for the second stage. One will be in early June 2021, and the other one will be will follow in October. And there is another novelty to avoid overload of applications, and that is that so you can apply for maximum of 2 times per application stage. This means within the next 2 years. So if you get rejected 2 times, then your PIC code will be blocked, and you will not be able to submit an application for certain period of time. But of course, this will improve efficiency. The application process will be simplified. You will get answers faster. So there is also good side to this, and also you will not waste your time if you have if you are not compatible for this particular call. And one more novelty is that the call will no longer have evaluation in a number of points. So in the previous call we had a total of 15 points, but now it will be simplified to a simple answer of pass or no pass, and then you will also have explanation of why you were selected or why you were not selected. So if you want to find out more about this call, or if you have any questions, you can ask us later in the questions and answer sessions. And in the meantime, I will continue with a few more programs before we close these sessions. Good news for the IT sector is that the European Commission decided to form a new program outside of the Horizon Europe program that will be specifically dedicated to the IT sector, which means that in parallel to the Horizon Europe program, IT companies can apply to the new Digital Europe program, which has a budget of total 9.2 billion euros, and IT companies working on high performance computing and artificial intelligence will have a lot of funding opportunities, because there will be the highest amount of budget is dedicated to this kind of projects, so 2.7 and 2.5 billion accordingly. And then also companies in the cybersecurity and trust, advanced digital skills, and interoperability and digital transformation will be available for application. So this is a completely new program, so I'm excited to see the new calls, and I think that this program will speed up the digital transformation of the EU countries. So I encourage all IT companies to follow this program and to think of potential applications and relevant projects. And another major program that concerns us all today with the current situation is the EU for Health program, and that aims towards the creation of a healthier and safer union during the period of 2021 to 2027. There will be three major goals of this program: to tackle cross-border health threats, and so this means that the Commission will launch goals related to creating medical supplies for crisis situation, and having healthcare educated and professional healthcare staff that can respond in crisis situation, and they will look to improve the surveillance of the health threats, so they prevent potential future outbreak of pandemics. The second goal is to improve the availability and affordability of medicines for all categories of people, and and in this major focus, the usage of antimicrobial medicine will be stimulated, and pharmaceutical and medical innovations will be encouraged, as well as green manufacturing practices that are in line with the newest, with the Green Deal objectives. And the last but not least is the strengthening health system priority. And under this priority, the goals will be dedicated to prevent disease and promote health in elder population, to stimulate faster digital transformation of the health systems, and to provide access to healthcare for all vulnerable groups. If you have questions for some of these additional programs, wait a few more minutes before the Q&A session starts. And the last program for this session is the LIFE program. So the LIFE program was also present during the period of 2014 and 2020, but now it comes into a newer, better form with a larger amount of financing available. So there will be in total 5.5 billion euros available for this program, which is 2 more billion euros compared to the last LIFE program. And also in line with the Green Deal, there will be 2 major fields of action, and environmental actions, which will be focused on the preservation of nature and biodiversity, and will stimulate circular economy projects and the improvement of quality of life. While another field is the climate actions. So 1.95 billion euros will be dedicated to the climate action challenges, both adaptation and and mitigation. So so you can decide whether any of these, which of the two actions are more relevant for your organization, and you can apply. But in order to be able to apply to this funding program, you need to be an NGO, public or private institution, or an SME that is located in the EU member states. There are also some other countries eligible to, non-EU countries eligible to apply, but but they can only apply in partnership with some EU member states. You should know that partnerships are not a necessity under this program, so individual applicants are accepted, but I strongly recommend that you partner with some other organizations, so that you can demonstrate a stronger and more competitive project. In the previous program, the LIFE program, the co-financing rate was 60%, and you needed to provide additional 40% of co-financing. But now the maximum expected rate will increase to 80%. So you will have a higher co-financing rate provided by the Commission. There are different types of call available under the LIFE program, and some of them are one-stage calls, some of them are two-stage calls. So you need to first deliver a concept note before you're admitted. You have a green light to submit a full proposal. The average duration per project is expected to be from 3 to 4 years, but you can also apply for 1 year project, or you can apply for 6 or 7 year project. And then the average amount of financing will be from 2 to 3 million euros. But again, you can apply for lower amount, and you can apply for higher amount. And if you're interested in the LIFE program, you need to make sure that you need to put in your calendar that this program is mainly available in the first quarter or the first half of the year. So the calls will be mainly distributed within this period. Of course, this year is an exception because the new framework is launched, so they will be a little bit later. So if you have any questions now to the LIFE program or any of the previous programs, I hand it in now to Philip to lead the Q&A session.
It was very insightful, a lot of information. Also good that you showed some of the urgency with the Innovation Fund small-scale call already closing on the 10th of March. Well, we did receive some questions from the audience. So, Mona, the first one: do you then still need to find a partner in another country? I guess it depends on the program, but right.
Yes, I will need to know more specifics about this project to answer this question, because yes, as I mentioned, the LIFE program allows for a single applicant, and then the SME instrument also is one of the rare calls under the Horizon Europe program that allows for a single applicant. So yes, it is possible for some organizations to apply a single applicant, but you will still need to demonstrate scalability of the project, and indirectly you will anyway need to show some partnerships that in the application that will help you to scale up and go beyond the country. Of course, this is a more general answer. If I know the specifics of the project, then maybe I can provide more detailed answers. So the person asking this question can contact us directly.
No. Another question. Can you touch upon where to identify medical research, medical data-focused funds? I have a project that is focused on medical data and health records, which is innovative, but can also fit into public health.
Yes, so there will be available calls under the Horizon Europe program, specifically for health. If you want to do so, I'm not sure whether you want to do a research or you're already at the development stage, but you will have both types of calls available under the Horizon Europe program, and then you can always check the EU for Health program. So both programs are applicable for your solution.
Okay, thank you very much. Another question. We are a technology company where we have an office in The Hague for the purpose of business development, but the R&D team and core technical team is residing in Armenia. Will my organization be eligible for any of these programs?
Yes. So if your organization is based in the Netherlands and if you apply with the Dutch entity, your organization will be eligible for these funds. So, but if you need to apply only with the entity that is registered in the eligible countries, and then internally there are different ways on how you can resolve this division you have with the team in Armenia, but I will also need to know more specifics, so you can contact us additionally, so we provide a more precise answer to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Another question. Is it only for European projects or open to European entrepreneurs who build innovations in non-European countries? So it's about exporting EU technologies. A question from Lisa.
Yes, it rarely happens that it happens sometimes that for example, in Horizon 2020, I've seen calls where you were able to apply to programs that were specifically that would specifically address challenges in Africa, for example. But to the general calls, you besides having a solution for a foreign country, you also need to demonstrate the benefit for Europe. So if you are able to provide benefit both for Europe and for abroad, then you can apply, yes.
Okay, so this applies for all of these programs, also the Innovation Fund.
The Innovation Fund is EU-based mainly, but this applied more for example, for the Horizon Europe program. And but the Innovation Fund is mainly EU-based program, so the project needs to be within Europe. So we apply because the goal is to create a carbon neutral Europe by 2050. So it was the Innovation Fund was launched to accomplish this goal. Okay,
thank you very much, Simona. Another question. Do you have any advice for IT companies working on machine learning, artificial intelligence, and perhaps in respect to the new Digital Europe program?
Yes, well, the specific calls are expected to be launched sometime in March. So artificial intelligence and machine learning are one of the top priorities in Digital Europe. So there will be funding opportunities available for you, but also because machine learning is applied to many sectors. So you will have opportunities to apply also in consortium, maybe to another program such as the Horizon Europe program, as a partner, or maybe as a lead applicant if there are when they publish relevant call for machine learning. Also, I don't know in which sector this organization operates, so it can be because machine learning can be implemented in different sectors. So yes, if you want to find out more, I can give you more specific answer once I know that your specific industry in which you operate.
Yeah, thank you. Well, this is a very general comment. If anybody has a specific question, if you want us to handle your specific case, just get in touch with us and we'll help you. One more question. Projects in the field of climate action and environments can be covered by both Innovation Fund, Horizon Europe and LIFE. Could you please share with us the key important difference between the funds?
Well, there are, so if we take the Horizon Europe program, it mostly addresses R&D, but when we speak about innovation, the Horizon Europe program mainly focuses on breakthrough innovations. So your innovation needs to be very disruptive to apply. And then similar conditions apply to the Innovation Fund, so they touch grounds, but the Innovation Fund is strictly focused on resolving the carbon emission. So if you have but it's not also mutually exclusive to apply to 2 or 3 programs, because at the same time you can apply to Horizon Europe and you can apply to the Innovation Fund and you can apply to the LIFE program. But you need to make sure that there is no overlapping of activities because double financing is not allowed, but you can still use the same projects to apply to different programs. So these programs are not mutually exclusive. On the contrary, they are complementary. So, and even if you, let's say, apply to the Horizon Europe and you win a project, then for the next phase, you can apply in the Innovation Fund or to the LIFE program. So I think you should consider all programs if, of course, your project is relevant. It also depends on the whether you satisfy the requirements, criteria of all of the programs.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Another question: what kind of expenditure is eligible for support in, for instance, in Horizon Europe or LIFE?
Yes. So for Horizon Europe, you can finance R&D activities. Well, of course, it depends if a later stage of development is required, then it's more development than research activities. But in general, this type of activities is allowed. And then you can also apply for licensing, demonstrations, improvement of prototype, preparation for commercialization. Then if you apply for equity financing, then you can also cover the commercialization part of the commercialization stage. And what is important to know is that equipment is not financed completely. So only the cost incurred, the depreciation cost incurred within the duration of the project will be accepted, and all additional costs will need to come aside from the project. So if you're buying a bigger machine, the Commission will not finance the full cost, but they will only finance a small portion for this. And all other activities like travel and participation to fairs and all of these things are also financed. Just when it comes to the equipment, it is this part is highly restricted. So yes, all other most of the other activities can be financed under both of the programs, LIFE and Horizon Europe. And then
Okay.
there are more specifics to what is eligible for financing depending on the program, the specific goal, and also the stage of development. But these are the general rules that apply to most of the costs.
Yeah, and about this expenditure, are there predefined expenditure rates in these programs?
Predefined expenditure rates, not necessarily. So the predefined. So for universities, they have some additional rules which apply. So there is maximum amount that can be spent for universities. For example, because professors are expected to work outside of their working hours with students. So this is additional working time, and it is limited. But for companies and other organizations, for example, for staff, the normal rates will apply. And there are some also predefined rates for the next session that I'm going to talk about, but maybe Diana can re-ask the same question later, so I tell more about it, because it's not relevant to this Q&A session.
Okay, clear. I think I've got, yeah, there's one more question. What is the required stage of development for Horizon 2020?
Yeah, so for Horizon Europe, the development stage requirements can vary. So for excellent science, you can, for the excellent science project, you can go anywhere between TRL 1 and TRL 3, 4. And then for the second pillar, for the global challenges, most of the calls will go between the range of TRL 3, 4 to TRL 6, 7. And then for the innovative projects, your project needs to have a minimum of technological readiness level 6, or it needs to be demonstrated in relevant environment.
Well, thank you very much, Simona. Well, I think we've gone through all the questions at this point. Okay, we're going to introduce a little bit of a break to give everybody a little bit of relief. We'll start again at 11:50. So that's 11:50. So I hope to see you back in a little bit more than 10 minutes, and see you in a bit.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for bearing with us until now. I'm very excited to hear about the next part, the funds for NGOs and social enterprises that tackle societal challenges. Of course, many of our audience and also organizations in The Hague work on addressing the SDGs, so I look forward to this part. Simona, please continue.
Thank you, Diana. What's going on? Yeah. Hi, welcome back, everyone, or hi to everyone that is joining after maybe a longer break. So now we are going to talk about a different set of programs that are more relevant, as Diana mentioned, for NGOs and also for organizations interested to apply in social topics. So I'm sure many of you know the Erasmus Plus program and the ECF Plus program from the previous financing framework, 2014-2020. But some changes to the programs will take place. So today I will going to present you the new upcoming programs for the 2021-2027 period. So we will first start with the Erasmus Plus program, and the Erasmus Plus is one of the leading programs for education, training, youth and sport, and it will continue to support projects in these areas, and it will support even larger number of projects because the available budget will double compared to the previous program. So the new budget is set to about 30 billion euros for the upcoming period, and it will allow mobility of 12 million people instead of 4 million people, which was the case in the 2014-2020 program. So in these programs, new principles will apply. A focus will be given to non-formal learning, mobility, virtual mobility, flexible learning, bottom-up university, and very good thing is that this program will be synchronized and will be consistent with other European funding programs. And what is important to know about the Erasmus Plus program is that there will continue to be 3 major key actions, and you will also see the Jean Monnet actions again. So the key action 1 will address the mobility of learners and staff in higher education, vocational education, adult education, undergraduate education. There will be mobility of young professionals, calls for mobility of young professionals in sports, and there also will be mobility of the youth. Another key action that will be present during the new financing framework is the key action 2, cooperation for innovation and exchange of good practices in education, training, youth and sport. A focus will be given to the delivery of innovation and to the formation of partnerships in the field of excellence and innovation. And the idea is to stimulate virtual cooperation and the development of new tools and platforms. So high emphasis will be given on the digital part, because due to the COVID-19 pandemics, we need most of the learning programs have been launched online. And then in addition to the Key Action 2, we have also the Key Action 3, support for policy reforms and cooperations, and in the field of education, training, youth, and sport. So if you're an organization interested in this field and you want to participate to calls that will measure and introduce instruments to raise the quality level of education, and that will foster policy dialogue and cooperation in these fields, or dissemination and promotion, then I encourage you to apply for Key Action 3. And then we still have, similarly to the previous program, we'll have again the GenMonet action, and which will support education and research in EU studies, and will reinforce dialogue between the academia and the decision makers. So you can apply for modules, university department, center of excellence, network projects under the GenMonet action. But in order to apply to this program, you need to have an organization based in any of the program countries, and that is the EU plus North Macedonia, Serbia, Iceland, Norway, Turkey, and Liechtenstein. So there are still negotiations for the UK, but there is no information until now whether they can participate in the new Erasmus Plus program. And yes, also the eligibility, so you can be an NGO or a public and private institution, an SME, research center, educational institution, or a group of youth, and depending on the call, you can apply in partnership with 3 to 6 other organizations, which is one of the core requirements into the Erasmus Plus program. And then most of the times the program require you to have organizations from 3 different program countries, but in some projects you're required to have a minimum of presence of organizations from minimum of 5 program countries. There are also partner countries, but and some of the calls do allow the participation of partner countries, but the partner countries are not always eligible to receive financing. The co-financing rate in this call ranges from 80 to 100%. So depending on the, so each call we have different co-financing rate. And then again, similarly to the previous program, there will be actions led by the national agencies and actions led by the CEA. So that means that the organizations that will apply to the national agencies projects, they will need to apply to the national agency to a country-specific national agency. So, for example, if your lead partner is from the Netherlands, then you will need to apply into the Dutch national agency. And if you go, if the call belongs under the EACEA, then you will apply centrally. So it doesn't matter from where the lead applicant comes from. What is important to mention here is that if you apply through the EACEA, you can use your PIC code for application, but if you apply through the national agencies, you will need to register your organization into the Solidarity and Corps portal, and then to receive an Erasmus code, so you're able to apply online. The average duration of this project amount from 2 to 3 years, although some projects allow for 1 year application and other projects allow for 5 year implementation. The financing is diverse and it can range from 150,000 euros per year up to over 300,000 euros per year. So depending on the call and the topic you apply, there is a wide range of financing available. And like the previous program, most of the calls will be based in the first half of the year. So in the upcoming years, please put it in your calendar to check the calls late November, because that is when they usually get published for the upcoming year. Of course, this year is an exception and they will be published later, but for the upcoming years, I'm giving this advice for the upcoming years. And yes, so make sure to explore partnerships, not just with neighboring countries, but also with a wider group of countries, because the Erasmus Plus wants to also see the multiplier effect, and that will, and if you have partners from different regions, then your project application will be stronger. So you can don't be shy also to partner with organizations that you don't know, because that is how you also form future partnerships for future projects, and maybe a cooperation that will extend beyond the project. So I've seen organizations that started as partners in one of their Erasmus Plus projects, and now they have already several years of cooperation on different fields. So don't be shy to explore cooperation with the different entities across the program countries. Besides the Erasmus Plus, there is another relevant program, and that is the ECF Plus, or the European Social Fund Plus program. Many of you know the EASY program, the Youth Employment Initiative, Fund for Aid to the Most Deprived, EU Health Program. Most of these programs are, all of these programs will join together to form the ECF Plus program 2021-2027. So they will be together under one umbrella, and there will be a huge amount of financing available for NGOs and social enterprises working on social topics. So, or to be more precise, 101.2 billion euros of financing. So this will be partly run, so 100,000 billion euros will be run by the member states, and the other part will be run by the European Commission. I suggest, so you can apply to the country-specific programs, or you can apply to the centralized program. The focus will be on health, employment, social innovation, testing of innovative solutions, development of, and that includes development of social enterprises, emergence of social investment markets. And what is new, child poverty will be addressed, and more resources will be dedicated to support youth employment, especially to support their transition towards greener and digital economy. And there will be new crisis response mechanism to help in situations like the current pandemics. And what is important to mention, Some of the previous calls under the health strand will go in the EU for Health program, and some more related to the social topics will remain under this program. So the eligible countries are the EU, EEA, and EFTA countries, and NGOs, social and employment institution, educational institution, finance institution, and international organizations can apply to this call. And you don't have to here join 2 to 3 partners from different countries, but you can also make partnerships within the same country, which is also quite important. And the co-financing rate will be up to 80%, which means that you will need to provide a co-financing rate of 20%, and the average duration will be 2 years, and the financing will be very diverse for different types of calls. So please put in your schedule that for this program to check the websites at the end of the year, because the application deadlines are mainly focused in the first half of the year. So I know that you may have many questions in regards to this program. So I give now the floor to Diana to lead the Q&A session.
Thank you so much, Simona. This was a really great insight, also for my own learning. So indeed, we have quite a few questions. They were sent actually in already much earlier. So I will start here with the first one. When you talked about the earlier funds, you were talking about that we have to be a registered company to apply, but now we're reading about group of youth. So in this case, Simona, can a group of youth does not have to have a registered entity in order to apply?
Can you repeat the second part of the question? I heard you.
Yeah, so the question is, do we have to be a registered company in order to apply? On one of the earlier funds, I think it was the Erasmus Plus, one of the companies was mentioned, a group of youth. Is that still a registered company?
No, a group of youth can apply without having a registered companies, but that is only applicable to the calls for the youth program. So you don't have to be a registered entity to apply for this particular calls. Although, to answer another question, so youth is considered a group of individuals that are younger than the age of 29.
Okay, and just to clarify also for people who are interested in other funds, for all other funds, they do need to have a registered entity.
Yes, for most of the other funds, they need to have a registered entity, and depending on the call, they can be registered. So for the social funds, it is important that they are registered as an NGO that will bring them higher chances of winning. But yes, in some cases also for-profits can participate as well. So it's also the decision of the entrepreneur.
Great. Great, thank you, Simona. And here's a question. We are an NGO and we implement our projects mainly in Africa. Can we partner with EU organizations for projects that then receive EU funding?
Yes, well, if there is a specific call launched for the region of Africa, then yes, you can apply. But if the call doesn't specify whether you can apply for fund and that you can apply for funding under that particular program, then you are not eligible to apply, because the rule is very specific. So only if there is very specific call to African region, then you will be able to participate.
And out of curiosity, because quite a lot of my clients actually implement their projects or work in Africa, do you have any view for the next year or two whether such calls will be included or include the region of Africa?
Well, in the past, I've seen many calls in the Horizon Europe program that included Africa. So I think there will be more calls for the region of Africa, and then maybe we will be able also to select some other financing opportunities beyond the EU funding opportunities that are relevant for this kind of cooperation. So maybe we can speak directly to your clients working in this region, and then we can identify calls in their area of expertise that may be relevant, and they might not be necessarily on the EU funds.
Great, great. That's really good to know. So another question is, can I apply if my project has already started with activities?
Yes, you can apply, but you can only get financing for the additional activities. So that means that everything that you have financed up to the point, the application point will be disregarded. So you cannot reimburse costs afterwards, but your project needs to be first selected for application, so you can be able so that you're able to declare your costs under the project. So you can even apply for different stages of financing, but you need to be careful to first be selected, and not only selected, but you also need to sign first the contract with the European Commission, and to because only the costs from the starting date indicated in the project will be considered eligible. Anything that you spend before the start date of the project will not be eligible for finance.
Okay, that's clear. Another question is, how do I find relevant partners? And connected to that, do I already have to know the organizations that I partner with, or is there such support that you can lend, for example?
Yes, so there are multiple ways on how you can find partners. So you can look through your network, and if there is no interested organization or no relevant organization, then it is good that you also check the networks of your partners. And then you can also submit partnerships. So you can also fill in a form online that on the portal that you're looking for partners. And then also consultants like me can also help you find partners, because some of my clients or someone else's clients may be looking for partners for certain projects. So these are the multiple ways. And then you can also maybe even contact Diana because she also has a wide range of contacts and of organizations, and some of them may qualify as your partners. And of course, it's not a problem if you don't know the partner, because many organizations work together on new projects and they don't know each other, and it rarely happens that problem arises. So because everyone is dedicated to successfully implement the project, and then you even get an added value from the project and create close bonds with these organizations. So it's always a plus even to cooperate with organizations that you don't know.
Right, great. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then another question that's just come in. What is the overlap between the focus of the European Social Fund on greener and digital economy and such programs as Horizon Europe, Live, or Digital Europe? Is there an overlap?
I would say there is a small overlap, because the European Social Fund still supports innovative projects, but the focus it's more on the social side. So, and then also there are some restrictions that for the applicants. So in many calls, only NGOs can apply or be a lead applicant. But for in the Horizon Europe, it's the innovation part is more emphasized. So there you will have to focus more on the innovation side and how you will scale it. And of course, the social element is important, but the first priority is innovation, where in the European Social Fund, you have the first benefit is the social element. So this is one of the core differences between the two. And of course, it depends what is your focus, because sometimes your project may be eligible to both, or if you're not eligible to both, maybe to a Horizon Europe project, you can participate as a smaller partner, and maybe in the ECF Plus Fund, you will be a lead applicant.
Okay, great. So there are some overlaps, but I do see also quite some significant differences. Simona, one person is asking, if I got rejected in the past, can I reapply for the same fund?
Yes, you can definitely reapply to the same fund, but of course you will need to improve your application. You will need to reconsider the weak points. You need to take in consideration the recommendations from the evaluators. And then you will be able to resubmit your application to the same, or you can, or if there is not the same fund, you can do it to a similar fund. But do not submit the same applications. Please first improve it and then submit it, because the same and even stricter remarks will come, because there is a history with your registration number, who applied to what, to which program.
Okay. As a partner, does a municipality qualify?
In some of the
very direct question.
Yes, yeah. Very direct question. Yeah. I didn't expect this question. Yes. Actually, for some calls, it can apply. Municipalities can partner in some of the calls, and even financial institutions can apply for some of the calls. For example, if there is a call related to the creation of new financial instruments for social enterprises, then also financial institutions such as bank or capital venture fund is also applicable to apply. So you can, depending on the type of call, you can make different types of consortiums to satisfy the requirements, and also to create a strong application.
Interesting. Thank you, Simona. I have two more questions at the moment. Let me check the time. We do have a little bit of time left. So we covered some big funds today, but where do we find about special calls, smaller calls that might be relevant for our specific proposition? I think I know what the answer is, but I'll ask you, Simona, because the question is for you.
Yes, so we will need to do a more specific search, because although some groups of funds are represented in different portals, there is no a total sum up of all available funding options. So I think once we know the topic, Diana, we can do a relevant search and then propose the most relevant funding options. I think we touched on this point earlier. So, so if any party wants to know more about also non-EU funds or other funds that we didn't even mention within this session or the previous session, they can always contact us, and we can tell them more. Because of the time constraints, we couldn't present everything today.
No, of course not. And indeed, this is how we've been working actually over the past years. If any of you in the audience has a specific project and you're curious whether it would be eligible for EU funding and what kind of funding and how you need to proceed, please get in touch with us directly with Simona if you want, but also we can make the connection and then we can have it evaluated to give you the best advice on how to proceed. So I will leave one question which is not about EU funding, Simona, for you to reply to later. And I think this brings us to the end of the Q&A session. Thank you for all your questions. Simona, thank you for your very insightful answers and the whole presentation. All presentations were really great. I'm going to definitely have to rewatch it because I want to learn in more detail about it. So what I wanted to say is all speakers are available for further questions, even after the webinar. So can you please, just reach out to anyone. To remind you, reach out to my colleague Philip or myself if you have any questions about setting up an entity in The Hague. Contact co-santing at the municipality if you're interested in partnering with Impact City. Reach out to Jill Wilkinson if you want to find out more about the Hague Humanity Hub. And of course, please contact Simona. She's also offering you to connect on LinkedIn, as some of you have already done, for any assistance that you need with EU funding. So as we develop our programming for 2021, we will host a number of